This Thursday, Bungie released probably the worst or one of the worst blog posts they've ever done, and it is depressing. I think the last blog post they did that was around this bad was, I think, Joe Blackburn's State of the Game blog post back in 2023. That was probably the last time Bungie's been this tone deaf and disconnected from their community and have shown it in one of their blog posts. Man, I'm disappointed a little bit. I was expecting, Bungie to listen to us, to hear our feedback and actually turn the game around, make the grind less horrible, less lengthy, and actually do something. And I was excited for the future. And honestly, bro, this is grim. This is very grim and depressing. So let's get into it. Let's not waste our time. Also, hello, my name is Donkey and welcome back to another YouTube video. Let's get into a quick brief overview of the TWID from this week. I don't want to waste too much time reading it. I just want to get over the quick points and then get into the discussion. So it starts off talking about contest mode. The most important thing about this for contest mode of the Epic Raid is the not swap being added to the raid. Overall, I'm gonna have a separate video talking about this later this week, and how not swap overall doesn't do what it's intended to do. You can actually loadout swap perfectly fine with not swap. Scaro has a good video on this he just put out going over why not swap doesn't actually stop loadout swapping. You can go watch that until my video comes out. Anyways, let's keep going. Where we really get into the important part of the TWAB / the TWID is this part here where they talk about the portal. And it starts off, Bungie does a little bit of a bait, They make it seem like they're listening. And, they start off, they're saying, oh, wow, so many people are in Caldera and in K1 Logistics. Oh, wow, they're in the salt mines. They're making a joke being like, oh, wow, people are in these activities so much, we got to change it so that there's incentive to do other activities. And they list a couple of things like the time bonus in certain activities can be either too much or too little. Like in Fireteam Ops, especially like on the higher levels of Fireteam Ops, you just do not have enough time to get through those activities. Fireteam Ops just aren't as good of a place to earn power as solo and pinnacle ops. And there needs to be more variety in these activities, and there needs to be more opportunities to matchmake. I've talked about some of this in my portal video and how overall things just don't feel good in the portal. They list these things out in such a way that make you think, okay, you're right, there is a problem and let's fix it. Let's incentivize people to play Fireteam Ops and to jump from activity to activity. But when they start bringing out the graphs and the data over the rewards and the playtime and distributed across different activities, this is when it really starts to just fall apart. And I've seen a lot of reactions, people reading the TWAB, where they start off being like, yes, Bungie, this is the feedback we've given them. And they get to this part with the graphs, and then it goes like, boo, just the excitement goes off the cliff because of how bad these changes are. So they talk about, the distribution of players across different activities and the duration it takes to complete these activities. And so you have, solo ops, pinnacle ops, Fireteam Ops, Crucible. Solo ops is overall at the top, and it takes the least amount of time to complete compared to things like Fireteam Ops and pinnacle ops. And they talk about how they want to balance rewards based on these things. So now based on like the duration of these activities, you're getting your rewards like reduced. So now, Encore, you're getting 2 less completion rewards, and Starcross, you're getting 1 less completion rewards. Man, it's bad. And then they come down here and they say, okay, here's how we're going to adjust Fireteam rewards. And here's like 3 activities that are getting bonus loot, and that's it. And then they also talk about down here, solo ops, the amount of power you're getting per completion from a solo op is going to be reduced by 1. So usually, you would get either like a +4 or a +3 in your grind up to 400. So now you're only going to be getting like +3s and +2s instead, to incentivize you, or I guess to disincentivize you from playing solo ops. This overall is just the worst way to implement a change to the grind, because you're not making the grind any better and you're not incentivizing us to play other things. You're disincentivizing to play things. I don't understand what gave them the idea that it would be smart to instead nerf the rewards from solo ops and pinnacle ops to push us into fireteam ops rather than make fireteam ops actually worth it and actually rewarding. Everyone's been complaining this entire time and giving criticism this entire time about how the game is not rewarding. Solo ops grind is still bad. It's not like it's juicer. It's not like it's the best grind ever and we're flying through the power grind. The power grind is a slog. You know, I feel like what they've done is they've looked at the data. They've looked at saying, wow, everyone's in solo ops, and they've completely and utterly misinterpreted the data. They've said everyone's in solo ops, therefore it must be an incredibly rewarding experience, and it is too rewarding. And so we have to nerf solo ops in order to get people to play more fireteam ops. When the problem is, it's the opposite. It's that fireteam ops are not rewarding, and solo ops are just more optimal. Even solo ops suck to grind. It's not like they give juicer drops. It speaks to how out of touch Bungie is with their community, with their game. Like, it makes you think, do they even play their game? Genuinely. Like, do the people who make these decisions play the game? Are they sitting in Caldera all day 24/7 and being like, damn, bro, this is so rewarding. It's actually too much loot. And then they go into fireteam ops and they're like, this is fine, dude. It's perfectly fine to get 1 or 2 drops from like a 15-minute activity. It's such a joke. Everyone was saying fireteam ops suck. Why should I even play them? I'd rather just do solo ops because it's just more optimal. But when you look at the graph, and you have no context of how people are playing the game, it makes you think solo ops are too good for the grind. When in reality, the grind just sucks and nothing is rewarding. And so they just nerf the power, they just nerf the grind. They just nerf the grind. So now it's gonna take longer for you to power level. You're gonna get less for running certain activities, and you're gonna get like 2 extra drops from liminality, everyone's favorite strike, liminality. Let's run some more liminality in Inverted Spire. Widow's Court Onslaught, everybody's 3 favorite activities. You know, you get 2 instead of 1, you know, 4 instead of 3. When I waste 50 minutes in an Onslaught, it's really gonna be worth it when I see those 4 drops when I could have done 20 freaking solo ops and have gone 20 drops. It's just, the disconnect here is that the rewards just don't match. And instead of buffing the rewards of fireteam ops across the board, not just 3 of, you know, the definitely most popular activities, they just nerfed everything else. And it's just, bruh, dude, just like, I just don't know who's making these decisions. You know, I made the joke to my clan that this was Pete Parsons' final, middle finger to the community after we made fun of his cars for 2 years. Like, we're on his way out, he dropped this twab on us. You made fun of my cars for the past 2 years? Now the game sucks. Enjoy. This was Pete Parsons' final goodbye. The brain power required to process why, how this decision could come to be is man, it's out of my control. There's got to be some reason. Even though I've made, a couple critical videos, I wasn't doomer. I wasn't like pessimistic. I figured like Bungie's gonna make changes that'll make the game better. I just have to wait, wait until Ash and Iron, wait until Renegades, and the game will be better. Like, that's just how how Destiny works, right? They put a change and they iterate. I didn't expect them to go backwards. I could have never imagined, after all the feedback we've given them over the past month, that they somehow came to the conclusion to make the grind worse, like to make it longer and worse and harder and to make the game less rewarding. Anyways, that's it for me, guys. I hope everyone has a good rest of their day and a good rest of their time on Destiny, as little as people are probably playing right now. I'll hop on for the contest mode of the Epic Raid, and then I don't know how much more I'm going to play until this stuff gets changed. I'll still cover things I want to talk about in the game. I still love this game. I want to make videos about it, but I feel like my play time is about to go freaking lower than I've ever seen before, okay? Until this stuff gets changed. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. Hope you guys have a good rest of your night. So peace out.